doing a late night model build and review of Blood Bowl. Wanted to review the new team that's out. I'm going to hold this down. I got a few different things for us to go over today. For folks that are not aware, Blood Bowl is a Games Workshop game, and is pretty awesome, pretty exciting. It is essentially for folks that are not familiar with the game, it is fantasy football. So it is fantasy football, as if you think of your favorite fantasy players. If you think of fantasy characters such as goblins, elves, ogres, and such, were to sit down and play football, what would that look like? So, sort of takes fantasy football and puts it on its ear. But this is my review of the new team to come to Blood Bowl. It's going to be both a review and also us building some models. But it is the new team, the Snotlings, who just came to the pitch. And I have a couple of different things for us to take a look at. I have the team cards. I'm going to hold it up to the larger camera, the Spike magazine, which we're going to take a quick look at. And then, of course, the team itself. And we're going to do a little bit of building on this team. As always, I have the chat open and live, so you guys can take a look. And this is the Snotling team, not to be confused with the Goblin team, which the Goblin team and the Snotling team are different. We're going to talk a little bit how they're different, how they're similar, and review them a little bit. And we're going to take a look at this model kit. And it's also going to be us talking a little bit through the differences in GW's release policies and differences in how they are doing things right now. So it's going to be an opportunity for us to talk through some of that. I wanted to start off by reviewing, and I'm going to go to my wider shot for this. I wanted to start off by reviewing the Spike magazine. So for folks that don't know Blood Bowl or the supplements and stuff for it, what typically happens, there's kind of two ways to do your supplements. So there's, of course, the Blood Bowl box set. If you want to get into Blood Bowl, a lot of folks do tend to buy that Blood Bowl box set. It's not a bad buy. The box set currently comes, and it will again come, with the human and orc team. Gives you the basics of a team to play. I mean, one of the things I love about Blood Bowl is that it is a very easy tabletop miniature game to get into, because you just have to buy one team. It's usually cost effective, and you're able to really get into that game. It's usually, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it today, but it's usually a $35 to $40 investment. You're right in there, you're able to go, and you're able to play. Some other things that you can get, so that basic box set, like I said, comes with humans and orcs, which is great for a friend in you. It should be around $100, 110 maybe. They will be updating the box set with the new rules in it and some other stuff that's going to be happening. They're also going to be updating the models that are in it, which they sneaked a peek of. But then you have a couple of other things. So the box set's going to give you the basic rules. And then you have team cards, which is a supplement you can buy. So you can have basically those cards on the sideline. So you have just cards for the different players that you have. But then the way that they do their supplements for Blood Bowl is they call it Spike, the Fantasy Football Journal. It's like almost like a sporting magazine for each team. So when they come out with a new team, there'll be a Spike issue. You'll notice this is issue 10 because they've had 10 teams. They also then collect these inside of an almanac, which is you being able to buy one book. So they give you, what I do like about Blood Bowl is they give you a lot of options for the supplements. But it seems like they give you a lot of options, but there's also some stuff about them that you have to go over. So as we talked about it, now I called them the Snotlings, but technically the team name for them is the Crude Greek Nose Pickers Snotling Blood Bowl team. So teams always have a very unique name. This is the standard in the box name. We'll talk a little bit more, or might touch on, and if you guys want me to do an actual video, which we will be soon, doing actual videos of playthroughs, and even doing my own little mini campaign, We're like within a week away of being able to do that. So we'll talk more about that as we go. But yeah, so Blood Bowl, you can see here the supplement, and it really does read out like a magazine. It's cool. It's got a lot of lore and fun stuff in it. So you see, it's not easy being green, and it's got an article about the team. What really the supplement is helpful for is to take some certain things. You'll see star player highlights, and we're going to talk a little bit more about star players, but it gives you some more background on them. Dirt from the dugout, and again, a lot of this is just lore and fluff, because it's goblins, and this is going to be one of those types of teams that I really like. I thought it'd be kind of fun to have this. You can see the star players are all listed there, and we're going to talk more about them in a minute. Team roster. So at a glance, what's nice about a book like this is that they give you a roster. I'm going to try to give you guys a better view of that. There we go. So they give you just the roster cost and what you can have. So you can see here that on the roster, it gives you how many of the players you can have. Because even though you're buying one box set, you could buy multiple box sets. Because as you can see, you have a lot of different options of utility. Where and then it gives you their special abilities. And then just giving you some other specs for all of our star players. So at a glance, you can just have that team roster. So there's a lot of good reference in here, plus the fluff. And then if you want, they give you just the Hall of Fame version of the team. So you can just take this if you want. Tells you what the total team cost is. If you just want to build that for a friend. And you can go to town and go nuts. So that's the Hall of Fame, like kind of the expert level version of the team. Then it gets, like I said, back into the star player spotlights, which gives you a little bit more inkling to who they are. The players, so that it actually goes a little bit more into detail of each type of unit that you have. We're just doing a quick run through of this. Starting roster, development. Speaking of skills, how should a player on the Snotling team be developed? It's a difficult question, but there are some words of advice. And it gives you actually some tactics. So you can see there's actually playbook tactics in here, which a lot of people don't know that's in there, just to give you some other formations and things to try. And again, just spotlighting those star players. And more lore and stuff for the teams. Now, in the Snotling team, there is some overlap with their star players. So some of these star players, like the Goblin Pogor, they're actually from the Goblin team, and they're from the Orc team. New inducements. So you see, this is kind of cool. They also give you some inducements specific to the team. Again, and I love how they have a Night Goblin Sports Shaman. Which is pretty cool. Oh wow, he could do Foot of Gork. That's from the actual fantasy game. Cast the spell immediately after your turn has ended, even if it ended with a turnover. Choose a target square anywhere on the pitch. Or work moves in a straight line from the target square to 3 squares towards your opponent's end zone. Roll 1 dice to heat each. Wow. That's crazy. Alright. So they have, I'm definitely going to take this inducement. If I can. That's crazy. So they have their own little funding. They also have some like actual like comic, which is kind of cool. They have their own like graphic novel stories in the back. So just in general, it's kind of a fun book. It's got a lot going on. But this is essentially your rule supplement for these guys. We're going to go through the rest of this stuff really, really fast. Because you guys check me out, and I know. And then you can see how to use these cards. They have a card in here. So the cards are, like I said, also reference. There's some things that the cards give you that the book doesn't give you. So they, of course, give you the actual units, but you'll notice these are here as well, which is player name, team name. So this is for you to be able to do custom characters. We're meaning custom characters in the sense that you'll notice that you have the stats printed on there for this character. You have all their abilities, but you also have the ability now to add, and this is going to be for season play. Because as players level up, you want to be able to have them in season play. And you get blank cards for those players so you can upgrade them with other skills. And we can see the different units. You have your troll. And we have a couple of troll cards for custom trolls, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so you can see the theme. We get the unit card, and then we get the ones that we can fill in. These are cool. You can laminate these. I know folks put plastic over them and then use dry erase markers. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And then we get into what really the cards are very, very good at, which is the star player cards. So these are really helpful to have on the sidelines when you're able to. You obviously can, it gives you the point cost, so if you want to induce out a star player. So inducements, I keep using that word. What is an inducement in Blood Bowl? Basically in Blood Bowl, when the two of you go sit down and play a Blood Bowl game, you say what your team values are. If one team's value is lower than the other, then they will actually, the team that has the lower value will get the difference in money to buy inducements. Inducements allow them to cast star players, for instance, onto the field so they can have a star player for that game. There's other inducements like the shaman I read. And there's other like common inducements that teams can take. So that's what the gold up here helps you with. It also is, of course, if you're playing a league game or creating a team, this is how much that star player would be. Now, star players are interesting because this is where Blood Bowl takes a little bit of a different take on it than GW's other types of games. For the most part, many of these star players are not actually built in model form. So it's where the hobby encourages that players actually model bash or kit bash to make some of these models. Now, in the case of things like the Goblin Bomber, that's a real one. The Chain and Fanatic, that's a real one. Chainsaw Wielding Looney, that's a real one. This is a new one. They haven't made this one yet, so there is no model for this guy. Morgenthorg, they've made him multiple times, so there is a model for him. The Looney, the Chainsaw Looning guy, they actually did make him once. They didn't remake him yet. The Thinking Man's Troll, definitely not a model for him. The Pogo Goblin there is. The other Ripper, so the orc guy with a chainsaw, no guy. And then Bob, who, funny enough, Bob is actually the announcer for Blood Bowl. He does not have a model for him. There are some companies that will make them. Then at the end you get play at the start of any of your opponent's turns before any other player takes an action. Effect, choose one half the pitch for the duration of this turn. Players that start this action in this half decrease their move by 2. Play with a very long leg skill or not affected by this. Right. So these are special play cards or dirty tactics. There are things that you can use in the game, and there are characters that let you use dirty tactics. So that's what these cards are. Then you have special play cards. So these, again, are different types of rules and things you can play with. And these are all supplemental cards of things you can play. And then this is your match record of your team. So this is just other stats your team can have when you're building your team. Again, these cards are meant to be reference cards for you on the sidelines. I do love using them. If it's a team I really love, I love having the cards. Technically, I didn't have to buy everything, but they have their different uses. You know, I like this for the lore part. I like this for when I'm actually playing. So I wanted to get both. And there is some repeats because I've gotten cards for other teams. But without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to get into, which is the actual team itself. Now, talked about how GW is doing things differently. Well, this box actually came in at over $40. So I said that it was a very affordable game, but this is the first time they actually made the game, or the team, actually more expensive. So they have raised their prices on Blood Bowl teams. Now, that being said, they also are giving you a lot more pieces in this Blood Bowl team than they normally do. But, and I say that but, they are Snotlings, so they're very small models. So although they are giving us over 20 models in the box, they're not very intimidating models. Now, we do get 2 pump wagons. Pump wagon is the new unit for them, which is pretty insane how the pump wagon works. But yeah, so those are larger models, and but we are getting a lot of small guys. Now, we are getting some other cool guys like the dudes on the rocks and the mushrooms. So in general, they're just fun models. And what's also interesting about this particular team, which is not true of a lot of other teams, you actually don't know their Blood Bowl models. So the cool thing about using these guys is that they can become models in other games you have. So I'm actually going to use these in campaign play as well, not just in Blood Bowl. But I am excited to use this Blood Bowl team. And I love that they have little rocks and stuff. So you can see we get an overview of the whole team. And then they give us an overview of a few other things, which is they give you kind of one shot of each of the team's units. Sorry the glare on this, guys. The pump wagon. Then it goes through the turn markers, your balls. So, like every team, there are special rules, and they should have special rules for the balls they have, which is pretty cool. So you could really get in. You know, people think Blood Bowl sometimes is a very simple game. There's a lot of rules to Blood Bowl that you can kind of sink your teeth into. And if you guys have comments or questions, please, as always, I'd love to hear from you. I know we're doing another late night video. I promise that tomorrow we will do some videos that are not late night and not crazy wicked late. Because I know everybody's got their schedules back. Everybody's going to work and doing other things. So hopefully... Okay, so you can see already how small our studs are. Nope. Oh, that's interesting. That's also new. They've never done this before, where they've given us smaller bases, and then they've given us the regular Blood Bowl bases. Usually all the Blood Bowl bases are like this, because they have the slit for the ball. Somebody's going to carry the ball. But they just sent us regular bases with no slits for the balls or slits for the model. My suspicion as to why is because we're building a lot of small goblins. So usually with Snotlings or goblins, models are really easy because they usually just encase or encompass putting the head on there. They don't usually. So certain things I could just pull out right now, which I think is pretty awesome. But I'm just gonna pop out like the turn markers, which the turn markers are just in. The goblins usually have like animated mushrooms and animated. They usually have animated like mushrooms and rocks and stuff. So they have a very zany kind of, and I keep saying goblins. These are technically snotlings. Snotlings, what is the difference between a snotling and a goblin in GW? What is the difference between a snotling and a goblin in GW is that snotlings are runtier goblins. So think about a goblin, but if like a runt was born, a smaller goblin was born. That is what a snotling is. Traditionally, snotlings are sort of underlings or servants of orcs and or ogres. So that's why they're the runtier goblins. So they, that's why they become mostly indentured servants, because they're so weakly, versus the regular goblins, which have a tendency to be a little bit more on the homicidal crazy side. So and they do crazy stuff like incorporate giant things like squigs to go fight for them. So they're a little bit more unstable. And they do, in fact, intimidate. And just so you guys can see, these are the turn markers. Mushroom on one side, Blood Bowl icon on the other. And then you see our angry mushroom guy there. So use these on the sidelines for your turn marker, your reroll markers. So I'm just gonna put those there because they don't have any assembly. You just pop them out. Now, of course, it comes with your assembly instructions. Interestingly enough, this is a new model kit, but they actually printed it like an old model kit style, which I think is kind of funny. Now, if you didn't buy any of the supplements or the cards, technically when you buy the team, they do give you a sheet with your stats. So it gives you the unit stats, the price, and it gives you a mock-up team. So if you wanted to just use what's in the box, it would add up to this. You put it on the field and you're ready to play. But what you notice is it doesn't explain any of the rules, doesn't explain any of the things there. So this is that thing where I say they give it to you, but you still need one of those supplements to actually explain it. And technically, the supplement I showed and the cards I showed, none of them actually explain the rules. You still need a rule book in order to play it. So, without further ado, let's get to building some stuff, because I've talked for way too long. And we'll build these guys up, and then we'll get them primed and ready to go. Alright, so I know I'm going to need 35. Now this is one of our, what is this unit called? Fun Hopper. So Fun Hoppers are guys on giant rocks, or not giant rocks, they're the right term would be so 30, okay, literally that's all we're going to do, just 2 pieces. Now, some of the newer models, these are definitely not in that vein, will be the easy snap together type of models, which have come out. These are 100% not those models, but you can see right away, pretty awesome. And I love these models. Now, what's cool about these teams, now, obviously, very intrigued to know how he's going to play. And actually, let me go to so you guys can get a better sense of this. Let me get this out of the way. I'm interested to see how this team plays. Now, typically, teams like this are usually joke teams, so that is a reality. But I don't know. People said that about the Ogre team. They said, they said with the Ogre team that they were going to be a joke team, and I found them not to be. Now, one thing I just want to check, and I'm skipping ahead a little bit to the pump wagon assembly. Do they say specifically that the pump wagon goes on a 35 base? And they don't. Which is unique for a Blood Bowl model kit because they're not actually telling you what they're looking for. So what I'm going to do is, instead of basing these guys right now, I'm just going to build them all out, and then we'll base them. Because I'm a little scared I'm not going to do it right. 44. But yeah, like I said before, what you're going to notice about these, we'll probably build this kit very fast because it's just going to be... most goblins are going to be like 2 pieces. Very few of them are going to be more than 2. GW is very good about, and I have to give them praise for this, they're good about making these particular ones easy and not trying to make you glue very, very tiny pieces onto very small models. They try to make it very seamless. Now, unless I'm going crazy, I don't see... Oh, there it is. I was going to say, wasn't seeing 44 for a minute. And like I said, guys, if you have questions, comments, if you're trying to get into Blood Bowl and you don't know exactly what to do, you have ideas for your team, you have ideas for maybe model bashing, model bashing a star player, which I'm going to go over doing some of that in another video, because I definitely am going to have to do that stuff. I'm currently in the process okay. Ooh. I had a funny feeling this is going to be a little challenging, this particular one, because what they're doing in this model kit. Ooh. Nah. No. I had it in there. Yeah, so this is gonna be a tougher model kit, because basically what you got to do is you got to line up his feet. Wow. There we go. It's like a perfect fit. You gotta pop him in there so his legs fit the right way, and then that seam gets built up, and it's like a perfect fit. But what you gotta be careful of is that you don't want to push on the sticks, because you could break the whole model. Yeah, that's cool. They're really cool though. I really like the way they did the new Goblin, the new Snotling team, because it just they look really cool. All of the models from this team, the sculpture just really, really interesting. But like I said, what I like also is that they're not specifically Blood Bowl related. Like, they are throwing stuff, but that could be, you can tie them into other campaigns that you're going to have, so they don't have to necessarily be in that. So I like when GW does stuff like that, especially because now I'm getting into Kings of War and some other games. they could be used for double duty doing those other games. So. And I have an idea for a narrative campaign, which I'm going to start putting the pieces together. Something new, something interesting, that I think will be a lot of fun and be enjoyment for folks. But we shall see. And what also attracted me to this team was the idea, like, I love that they have the rocks and different things. They got faces, so, like, you know, it's very in the spirit of, like, every other goblin related thing. It's very zany. You know, the Snotlings and the goblins always have a very big, they're very zany, very comic relief. You know, even the trolls that they employ. Oops. There's a sense there of a real. I'll put a little bit more glue in there. A real comic relief. Well, because like we talked about, you know, they're comic relief. They're the runtier goblins. Oh, Jesus. Alright. Yeah, this is a weird angle. So what you have to do, it's not a bad sculpt. It's just that he's so tiny. He's so small, there's so little of him to hang on to, that to get that piece set correctly, it's a little bit challenging. And like I said, all I'm doing now is I'm just building out the models that they have here, and then I'm going to put them aside, and then when I figure out, I'm pretty sure the pump wagon is going to go on the bigger bases that I have, and all the other guys are going to go on the small ones. Similar to how they did with the Ogre team, where all the Ogres went on big bases, and then all of the Snotlings that work for them went on the tiny round bases. And obviously the cool part about this too is that I can if I had to in a pinch, I could use these for my my other team as well. So I'm supposed to be getting 33 and 34. Now, one thing that, but they made them pretty unique. There is not really a customizing set, you know, there's not really customizing your models in this one. You know, it's pretty much you make the models that are there. Now, what's cool is that they did make them pretty they varied them a lot. So you are getting a pretty solid amount of sculpts that look different, which I'm a pretty big fan of. I like when they do that. You know, one thing that I like more is when you can maybe divvy up the heads differently, or you can move stuff around, but it does not look like we can do that on this one. You know, I like when they do that, where they give you like a ball jointed head, So even if the main pose is repeated, which on Blood Bowl usually it is, you get mirror studs for each side. So they give you 2 of each stud or sprue. I keep saying stud. Sprue. So you can build half and half. Because usually there's 2 of each unit. Some model kits vary or are different. But usually that's how they unfold it. And sorry I'm doing a build video and not a paint video. We're gonna do some painting tomorrow night. Well, first off, I wanted to do a build video to review these guys, and just to give you guys some first-hand look at them as a team. But the other reason I wanted to do it this way was because tomorrow, you know, I know I've talked about it on other occasions. Whoa, what? Alright, so this is a sideways head. Maybe that's why it's not working. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that pose. Oh, you could be a little bit fun with these. Okay, so this one you can vary the head. I tilted mine a little bit, so he's got a little bit more attitude. I kind of like the way that looks, so I'm gonna leave that be for right now. But you got a little bit of latitude. You can play around with that one's particular form. All right, so 42 and 41. You know, and it looks like you get a lot of goblins that are running and complaining, or a lot of snotlings that are running and complaining. Yeah, I am intrigued to see how this team plays. My theory is that you 100% probably need star players for these guys to survive. The ogre team has the ogres, so like the snotlings do what they're supposed to do, which is really the snotlings are faster, they can dodge. So you have your ogres beat people up, and then the snotlings get there eventually. You know, and they're going to be the guys that are going to pick up the ball and, you know, maybe work with it. Really, the big play if you're playing the ogre team is to, you know, get a snotling on the ball, run him up to an ogre. Hopefully the ogre was able to hit and knock down the opponent that's in his tackle zone, and then just literally throw the snotling, because they have throw teammate. So you can throw that snotling into hopefully your opponent's end zone, and score that touchdown. So it's a sneaky way to do it. You could also do a few other things with them, but in general, they are not the greatest linemen, because their strength is so low that you would have to get tons of them together. You know, the real idea with the snotlings, although they beefed up a few of the snotlings on this team, is really they're just there to get mowed down, and then when you get money, like if you're doing a league play or a competitive season, you're just going to put them in harm's way a lot, and you're just going to buy more because they're so cheap. Yeah, a basic snotling is only 20,000. You know, most average games in a season, a league play, you're gonna get probably 50 or 60,000 each game. So if you have to buy up a couple of them, Usually for me, I start up a team with extras, so I have little Snotlings in reserve because I know they're going to die. Because I'm going to do stupid things with them. Like try to throw them into the end zone to score a touchdown. Yeah, throwing a teammate. Oh shoot, I think I took off a little bit more. Throwing a teammate in Blood Bowl is it's not a great ability. Because you have to. Hey, how's it going, man? It's going okay. How are you, sir? As I said to others before, sorry it's been the videos have been uneven. I still have been putting out videos, but I know we haven't done a lot of like model and painting videos because I've been doing a lot of work on the studio so that I could get to doing some actual battle reports soon, and then we can kick the painting into high gear. So what I'm building now, I'm working with the new Blood Bowl Snotling team. So I'm getting them built up. So we're building some little tiny Snotlings. I've actually built half the team already. And we're going to get into this pump wagon. The pump wagon is one of the things I am most anticipating and loving. The pump wagon has some ridiculous rules to it where you just you literally could charge people, just run them over, which I think is kind of crazy because the dwarves have to do a lot to get a steamroller in this game. Which, yes, if you did not hear me correctly, the dwarven team literally has a giant steamroller that they just roll over people with. It's pretty crazy. It's a unit you could buy. It has what we call dirty weapon, or not dirty weapon, secret weapon. Oh, awesome, huh? Never played Blood Bowl, but watch some of it. Hyped to see more. Yeah, we're gonna do full games. I'm gonna have a league started, but again, this is all because I'm gonna have a studio in my house so I can control. We can be safe, when people are playing, and obviously I can have the folks I know are good to go come and play in our videos. And you guys have met them already if you watch any of our RPG, the folks that I do my RPGing with on Thursdays, which, reminder, this Thursday we'll have another installment of True Crimes in Toontown, which is the campaign that we're going through on the DM for that. So if you want to check that out, you can check out some of the previous episodes where things have gotten very, very crazy. But yeah, those folks that I play with, they're going to be coming, and we're going to be doing some Blood Bowl stuff. And board gaming stuff and all kinds of cool stuff. But I'll actually have a space where we can film us playing. We can be in person for once. Alright, so sorry, I'm pausing for a minute. Alright, so I got him. Why is 45 already out? Did I put the wrong body on the wrong person? No, that's impossible. How could I have put the wrong body on the wrong person? Well, 45 is clearly not here, so unless I did some sort of magic trick, where did the freak did 45 go? Oh, that's on there now. No, he didn't have. What the heck? Oh, none of them. None of them could have been. No, where? wants 46. Oh, they printed the wrong... They printed it... It's a typo. That's... I had this problem of mislabeled parts with my sister's battle I built yesterday. Yeah, I just noticed it. So they mislabeled it. Yeah, that freaked me out. Yeah, so I had to look at the pose. Because I'm like... Because the goblins are very... The snotlings are very specific. So if you look at their sculpts, they're really, really specific. So, crap. They're so small, too. But yeah, you guys are going to see so much more painting. And I'm going to have some more tabletop reviews. I actually just grabbed... Not that I needed another game, but I've been grabbing some really interesting games and stuff. Some of it I've grabbed because of the models themselves. So I actually don't really care about the board game, but we're gonna try out the board game. There we go. But I got so much stuff coming down the pike. It's crazy. I just bought another board game, which is from this company. They do what's called storybook board games. I don't know if you've ever seen these, but we're gonna play a couple of those. Again, once I have the studio totally done and ready to go, it's gonna be so much cool content coming. So if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, because some of that content will be specific to YouTube. And if you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, please do that as well. And I will come back and definitely, because we're gonna come back just to give you guys previews of some of the paint stuff. I'm gonna do a paint video tomorrow, but I was able to paint up my some of my Hellboy minis. We're gonna do some more Hellboy minis. We're gonna do some more Marvel. I have more Marvel Crisis Protocol to paint. I have more minis to paint. I have tons of GW stuff to paint. It's gonna be paint extravaganza. So we'll be either building a model kit or painting for the next little bit, doing some reviews. So, not to mention Necromunda had a new game that came out. I have the Necromunda box, which is kind of a throwback video, but we're gonna do that. So much stuff. 37. I'm probably gonna build one of each unit, and then I may build the rest off camera, because it's just gonna be me building the same thing over again. Wait, there are Marvel miniatures? Yes, there are. Dun 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 dun. Actually, let's show. Crap. Oh, I got a mini coming on top of that. So, I'll show a finished one. So, you guys can check out the video. I have this on the YouTube channel, and I have it on the Twitch channel. But this is the Groot I finished up. So, for folks that are not familiar, there is a game called Marvel Crisis Protocol. It is a small squad skirmish game with objectives and such. That's an example of one of the sculpts. This actually comes with Rocket. I haven't finished Rocket yet. You guys will see me paint Rocket. I will bring that back. But I've painted a ton of them, and then I'll sneak this because I finished part of it. So if you are not familiar, yes, that is Thanos. So I painted up my Thanos, which that Thanos then comes. I know this is not GW stuff. It actually comes with the throne, which you guys, I will be doing a video where I finish the throne. I haven't finished it completely yet, but it actually comes with the whole throne. And what's cool about Thanos, it actually changes the way you can play the game. Oh yeah, I remember you building the Groot. I didn't realize it was him though. That's cool. Might be something to get my friends into. Yeah, the Crisis Protocol game is really, really awesome. And I will be doing more videos. I have Thanos' generals, which I have to build, and I will be getting more because they just released the X-Men just got released, so I'm getting a set of those because I want the X-Men out there, and do some Danger Room scenarios. I have a lot of really cool stuff planned, so And we're going to do scenario gameplay with that. So, but yeah, going back to the Thanos piece, and then we'll go back to our Snotlings, because we gotta give our Snotlings some love. Like I said, it changes the whole way you play the game. It actually makes it so you can play multiplayer. So you can have one person plays Thanos and his forces, and then 2 players play against him, and it's all about him, acquiring, of course, the Infinity Gauntlet, and stopping him from doing that. So it gives you a whole nother mode to play the game versus just a 2-player, 2 players against each other trying to compete for objectives, and obviously tabling and all that stuff like you normally would have in most war games, skirmish games. But yeah, they got proper X-Men, Miles and Gwen. They have so many. They've released quite a bit in the last little bit, and they are not stopping. They are not stopping. And again, that's Atomic Mass Games. And then what you saw me hold up, that was Liz from Hellboy. Yeah, it's Atomic Mass Games. That makes the Marvel Crisis Protocol game. Yeah, and then the other one was the Hellboy board game. That's made by Mantic Games, which is actually one of the companies that's been nice enough to send me a bunch of stuff. So we'll definitely I'll be painting up the rest of those minis, and then we'll actually be playing some of those games. If you want a really cool, I would say the Hellboy board game might be a good thing to get your friends into too, because it's a co-op board game. It's a co-op dungeon crawler game. Just like Silver Tower and Black Fortress is a dungeon crawler for Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k. I think those are great ways to get your friends into the hobby. If you are thinking about doing that, because who doesn't like superheroes? It's a great way, because you introduce people to fantasy stuff like this, and it can be really overwhelming, especially GW in some cases. Because their lore is a little bit more rich. It's been around for a long time. So you might feel like, well, I don't really understand the characters or who I'm playing or what's going on. Whereas if it's more well-known things, they could relate to it better. And then it gets them into a rule set, and they understand a little bit more about objectives and measuring. The Marvel Crisis Protocol game does not use inches. It uses, like a lot of the games out there, like Legion and Star Wars Legion and some of the other games, it uses movement templates. That seems like it's on wrong. Yeah, the Snotlings are awesome, but they did go a little crazy on some of their dynamic poses. So you really do have to pay attention. Oh, jeez. To your seams, and you don't have a lot to grab onto, and you can't really press because some of them have very, very delicate edges, so you got to be very, very careful. But look at the pose on that guy. Like, look how awesome that is. He's like all like, there's just a lot of action. I find that the Snotling models, they do that a lot, because I feel like with the creature models, like the Snotlings or the Troll, they try to be very comedic with how they move, but it helps because they become very expressive when they do that. It's just a lot of fun. And again, I feel like I'm I'm using this video to jump around a lot. But, right, where the hell is this model? Sorry guys, I'm confused about one of the models on here. Because I'm trying to figure this out. Snotling 8 has a very unique pose. And I'm not seeing that pose. On anybody. He's like holding something. Why do I feel like he's on here? And he 100% is on here. Why did they put him on the pump cannon one? That's really weird. But again, this is the Blood Bowl Snotling team. As I said before, it's an interesting team. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to play because so the running gag with the Goblin team, not running gag, it's actually more annoying, but the way the Goblin team plays now, which again, going back to what I said before, if you're not familiar with Games Workshop or with Warhammer lore, basically what they call Snotlings are still goblins. They're just runtier goblins. In the Goblin team's case, I don't want to say that the Goblin team is unplayable because that's not true, but you have to, in order to play the Goblin team successfully, and I'm going to show you guys the model just so you can see. To play the Goblin team successfully, you sort of have to buy better models. You have to buy what they call star players. Star players are more robust players that have better stats and they cost more. And in the case of Blood Bowl, it's kind of crazy, but in many cases, some of the star player models are not actually available for purchase. So you will have to more than likely do model bashing, kit bashing. You'll have to actually design the models yourself because GW actually hasn't made the models because funny story about Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl was a game that was very popular and then kind of GW, it lost a little bit of its popularity and then GW sort of stopped making it. Yeah. But they stopped making it, but the fans of the game were, so being a hobby, they started building the models outside of the game. So it's funny, it's sort of it's like gaming in reverse, but the company who made the game stopped making pieces for it and things for it, but the fans made a bunch of stuff for it and kept the game going. And now they're slowly making the things the fans created. So the gag teams, the things that fans made that were stupid, they're making those. They are starting to make some of the other star players. So it's sort of slow catching up, slow moving. But GW is actually making it. So sometimes you will have to just wait a little bit and you'll get some answers to your questions. But then other times you got to build them. So, and I actually have, I don't have the example out now, but I have a couple of examples. If you actually go to my website, I have a couple of examples of the piece I made. But for the Halfling team, I actually built one of the star players. For my Undead team, I actually took a Goblin and repainted him to make him look like a zombie to recreate one of those, because there is an undead Goblin, essentially. for the undead team. He's a really cool player. He's got a couple of abilities that are fun. Basically, he's got like a... Well, his best power is that he can just basically shiv you. So he can leap over you and then leap over players and then just show up next to you, shiv you, and just go right through your armor and try to kill you. He might get thrown out of the game for shivving you, but he can do that at least once. Alright, here comes the big one. So this is the instructions for the pump wagon, which is going to be amazingly fun to paint. Probably going to be a pain in the butt to build. Just looking at it, but it's basically a goblin. It's a Snotling war machine, for lack of a better term. It might be. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta just step away for a minute. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Alright. Thought I heard something. It was kind of weird, so I had to jump away for a minute. Alright, so 4. We'll be back to our regular scheduled program. Super Slicer, thank you for the follow. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge that before I ran away for a minute. I hope you are still watching. It's hard for me to check the list because I'm hands deep in modeling. Yeah, it looks kind of complex, but it really isn't. It's just you got to find the pieces. And what's crazy is that, so going back to what I said, it is a Snotling war machine. So it is intriguing in the sense that it's a war machine for tiny little guys. So as you can imagine, their war machine is not it's not of high stature, but it is still gonna hurt people. What's going to be a lot of fun once I get the studio built is that we will... Okay, why does that not... No, I don't want to be glued to this. Okay, that's right, but... Oh, that's not what I thought I was doing. Okay. Okay, so you're making like a little... damn it. Okay. I hate when they do this. So what they did, I'm going to show you guys if I can. I love GW's model building prowess, but so they do this a lot where I call it Jesus. So they put like little ledges, and they put like little divots and little ledges on things, and they work kind of well, but they sort of don't either, because you're trying to put one on while you're doing it, and sometimes they don't completely model out what they need, which is really annoying. So they'll like, you'll see little nubs on something, but they don't actually put the holes on the other side, so you're just kind of putting it in place. So you have to sort of understand what you're looking at and just try to do the best you can to you know, recreate it and just fit it together. Yeah, so you can't even see it, but there's like a slight groove that they made, and you have to like put it on there. Now I'm using Gorilla Glue because I started using, I have Jesus, I have been a fan of super glue over plastic glue for and actually it's for situations like this. Yeah, see, I think I put, okay, good. Oh, geez. Okay. Let me get this side on. Yeah, because I got this one to fit better, and I wanted to make sure. Probably gonna have to put more glue on it. And I like how you said you think this model is kind of complicated, because wait until you see what else I have to do to it. Because not only is it the wagon itself, but you're gonna have a bunch of little snotlings on top of it. And I hate when they do this. I hate when they make a model and they make it really smooth. Like, so again, they make very tiny little holes to kind of set it, but they make the whole thing really smooth and round. So there's like nowhere for you to hold it, and there's not even ways for you to put arms on it to do anything. So you're like sitting there just getting angry at it. Alright, so now we need 22. Which, where's 22? I'm sorry that I'm not getting to the comments a little faster, guys. I have to look down at the model. I usually have something in front of me. I will have a very different setup once the studio's finished, and I'll have a lot of other things that I have to do. And like I said, we'll do one pump wagon. Then I've built every one of the models from this, and then I'll come back. I'll probably build the other ones off camera, and then obviously I do videos of me painting them. 17. Where are you, 17? 17. Is it 7 or 17? Am I missing something? And if I am, shout it out, guys, because I am definitely not seeing. I am not seeing 17. I see 18. I see 19. And I see nothing that looks like... So basically, it's supposed to look like... It's supposed to look... Not on that sheet. Found it. I had to look at the other sheet. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I look. Alright. So, well, the other thing too, I guess it does look like that. Alright, so this is crazy. This was created by a crazy person. This was created by a whacked out psychotic person. So I don't know if you can see that, but there is a little, again, this goes back to what I said before, there is a tiny little nub that you have to, because there's going to be a wheel there. That's why. So you have to build the wheel. Did the same thing building the past few days. Heart stops for a minute. Yes. Well, because you basically you think you're going nuts. Is the reality? Oh, this is crazy. This is like super duper. Because again, like I said, remember, tiny runt-like goblins are running this thing. So of course it's built in a psychotic, weird way because it's a goblin model. Like, look at that. Look at that. So I gotta put... I should have my tweezers out, which I'm not. I'm being bad. But see, this is why I like super glue over plastic glue. Because if you were using plastic glue, I would never be able to glue this fast. I'd have to wait for a lot of this to dry before I could glue the next thing. Because the plastic glue, and I always said it before, if you mess up with the plastic glue, so let's say you put the wrong pieces in, you deteriorate the plastic glue every time you do it. So you're actually eating away at the plastic of the model. So eventually, if you mess it up enough, you can actually take away a big chunk of your model, and then you don't actually have the whole model there, or it becomes harder for you to set the model up. So yeah, this was invented by someone who was on drugs. This is and that's the fear of everybody who builds models. Okay. So I just dropped a bit on the floor. Found another bit. Has nothing to do with what I just dropped. I wish I had a head that by sooner. A couple of my models have my fingerprints on them from messing up with plastic glue. Yes, that is why, because it fuses the plastic. Yeah, so that's why that happens. It's because plastic glue, so it's a trade. Plastic glue, it fuses the plastic together. So Watch me drop it again, guys. It's going to happen. Okay. Now, my understanding from the picture... So I think... Come on. Right, so if I put this where this is supposed to go. Oh, now I'm going to start bending stuff. Alright, I think I just bent that a little out of place. Alright, so that's what's supposed to, I think, happen. Let me look at the picture. No, it's supposed to go in. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to shoot a little bit of glue in that. Put that a little bit like that. Yeah, that's why you have a fingerprint, because plastic glue, like I said, plastic glue, it merges it actually fuses the plastic together, so it actually eats away at the plastic on both sides. Now, as I put it, the trade-off is that when you use plastic glue, you get a stronger bond. So, although the plastic glue has that drawback, you do tend to get a better bond than you do with something like super glue. So it's all a trade-off. But I like super glue because super glue sets faster. And like we just said, if I mess it up a lot, I can scrape it off. Which is the other reason. 20. So then you can just cut it off or scrape it off and start over again. And thank you guys for the follow. If you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, please consider following the channel. Following is the best way to know when we're live. I say it every video, but I'm definitely going to commit to it once I get everything up and running. I'm going to try not to do extreme late night painting videos. I mean, they will still happen every once in a while. They will still happen every once in a while, but I'm going to try not to do as many of them as I've been doing, both for your sanity and for mine. But I know some of you guys that I've had on the channel and you've watched me during quarantine. Some of you folks are in different countries, so I know, like, being on later, it's helpful in your time zone to see me. So, like I said, I'm going to try to do less of them, but I will still have some of them. Alright, so you can start to see the pump wagon getting into effect or focus here. It does seem like a complex model, but just because it has a lot of small pieces. Oh, that's not the one I want. 16. I feel like every time I look at this model, I have to like figure out where I'm putting stuff. You know, what makes it complicated, honestly, is more the fact Alright, sir. is more the fact that when you get pieces like this, where it's like a wood-based thing, I'm surprised. Yeah, they have nothing distinguishing it. Nothing at all. Wow, this is hard. Yeah, this is not easy. Yeah, it's just slippery. Yeah, so it's just slippery. It's just a really slippery piece. Yeah, because this is where I always get nervous when you start to have pieces that have to sit on it in a way. Wait, hold on. Hold on. I messed this up. Alright, so if we look at the instructions. It's supposed to go in here. Oh, that's wrong. Okay, that's crazy. They want me to put it. Yeah, so it looks like they want me, but it doesn't really fit there. Okay, I don't think this is gonna go well. I have a very bad feeling about how this is gonna work, because whenever they want you to line up pieces like this, I feel like it never ever works. But I'm gonna try. We're gonna see. It always seems to go wrong when they want you to do this. And see, this is where trying to tilt it because they look a little bit more tilted in the picture. See, I wish that they would just do this. Like, show you that from the beginning, where you have to put a bar on top of them instead of come on. Because now what's going to happen is... Oh, that is 11. Okay, 11 is the roof. Right, so if they would have just told me in one step I needed these 3 pieces, I would have just taken the roof off. I would have done it in that way. Because now what's going to happen is, watch. I'm going to go to put the roof on. Well, the good news is that other one didn't really glue in, so I can now figure this out, but now what's going to happen is... I'm just going to take this off because that's not even glued on. Right, and then in pure GW fashion, there we go. So what they don't tell you is there's a little nub there. But see how by putting the roof on first, it makes your life so much more easy? Because then what you can do is you can put your other piece on there, and then all you have to do is line it up now. Then you just got to put in let's get that in. There we go. So now we have our... I'm just going to pat that down. Okay. So now we got our wagon. You guys can see how this wagon is starting to come off. I'm a little bit more confident I have the pillars the right way now. Nah. So we're gonna let, I am going to let a little bit of that, whoops. I am going to let a little bit of this dry. I said that it sets pretty quickly, but that because it's a little rickety and we got to interlock those pieces, I want to give it a little bit more time while I prep the next, because basically we have to put 4 posts on it. Now, what they're going to do to me, which they did already, I can see that they're going to make me put the post inside of it again, which is annoying. But now we have a pretty good foundation with those first 2, that these other ones should be a little bit easier to put in. But we just have to really look, because the secret is always going to be what you see. But if I remember correctly from the back of this one, it's a little bit more straightforward. I'm going to have to... Alright, let's get the mushrooms in the right spot. Yeah, so what I did here, oops, and that's okay because the posts are in now. So even if I have to go back and hit that with a little bit more glue, it's kind of okay. I actually don't care if the roof is a little bit loose until I get all the posts in the right way. But like, I know for a fact that that mushroom post is in the right way, and then I can always shoot some glue into there just to get everything looking nice and make sure it's tidy. But this is the key, and that's why I didn't really go nuts really bolting that down, because I knew, just knowing GW, I'm like, I'm gonna have to put some stuff in there, and they're gonna make me do these posts. They've done it to me on other models, so I've learned to leave certain things a little bit more open. You know, again, when it's done, gonna be an awesome model. But now, if I'm not mistaken, there are goblins that are supposed to go on this, I think. So I think some of the goblins we built are actually meant to go on the wagon itself. Alright, so now for this, oh, I got it. Alright, so they're going to make this one really, they're going to make this one a lot harder than the other ones. Okay. So we got to go right here with some glue. Yeah. Right, and then we're going to go like that. It looks like. So we got to go like that with our and then I have to put oh no, this goes alright. Crap. So this so this goes back to what I was saying about lining stuff up. Because now, which is what I'm thinking is wrong. Nope, that was right. That is supposed to go on the post. Nah. I don't think I moved this down enough. Couldn't have moved that. I'm just trying to force it a little bit more. Because basically, the way that the post is supposed to be. So 13, which is, where's 13? This tiny little tree piece. They're supposed to meet, which I don't think they're going to be able to. Yeah, because they're saying on here. Ah, my God. Yeah, this is crazy. I think I'm gonna need my tweezers. I can't. There's no way I can do this without tweezers. Where'd it go? Alright, sorry guys. I know I'm looking for a bit on the floor, which is always a really annoying thing to do. I'm all the way on the floor. That's not a good sign. Find a bunch of other crap. You say it didn't end up on me. Okay. I have no clue. I have no clue where this bit went. At all. That's crazy. It fell down. I watched it in slow motion fall. I watched it in slow motion fall, and I can't find it now. Great. It's another bit I found. It's not the bit I'm looking for. Okay. Well, we're going to have to... Well, I guess I'm just not going to have that particular bit there. Alright, that's crazy. I can't believe that I missed it. Alright, we'll have these out for next... Alright, so we're going to skip this step. We're just not going to have that in there. My wagon's going to have to be... I bet you it's stuck to me. I bet you felt... Like I checked my shirt. Oh, sorry, guys. Showing off my stomach. I'm like trying to find where this thing went. Problem is my carpet is the same color as the bits, so it really doesn't help at all. So, and I want to get this I want to get this wagon built, so we're gonna go a little faster through the rest of it because I wasted a bunch of time trying to find a bit. Which is my fault. I should have had my tweezers out from the beginning, especially when I'm doing these types of models, because they're small, the pieces are small. Alright, you know, we're not talking about very big pieces, so shame on me for not having all my tools ready to go, or I should have had them. Especially little models like this too, because they tend to have those like really hard to put together pieces, because I talked about it before. Either you run into problems about, you know, what we're about to do now, which is something also running out of glue on this side. That's probably right. Yeah, this you can have fun with, because there's no right or wrong way to put this on, because it's just the wheel. So as long as you make a barrel out of it, you can have a little bit of fun. And then we need our 9 and 10 pieces. So personally, when I have pieces like this, I like to cut out. I think this is starting to get. I may have to get a new one of these, or yeah. So you'll notice is. Yeah, so like for the 10, right. So what I'm already noticing is how I feel like it should be the other way around. Because if you look at your two options, right, so neither of these are going to fit really well. This is another GW. Oh, they always do this GW. I hate when they do this. I know I'm putting it on wrong. My bad. Alright. So it should be a little bit more snug. Yep. And this goes back to what I was talking about, which is, you know, now you gotta figure this out. So this is what I would recommend doing, which is always an easier way to go. I would do it not the way that GW tells you to build it, and put in the two sprues that are your levers, so you can line them up nice, and then you put the wheel on. Now for the other one, the only thing you really have to go on is that the mushroom is pointed down, so you know that this has got to go on the wheel. And this is why I do it. So now what you can do is you can line up your two wheels. So now all you have to do is go back, pop a little bit of glue in each side. Now if you do it fast enough with super glue, you might have still a little bit of volatility in them. So you can okay, so there's too much. Because it's not now we're in for the annoyance of GW models. If you try to do too many things at once, sometimes in general, what's happening to me can start to happen. Alright, so you're gonna have to wait until this is glued. Yeah, because the geniuses who made this, and they do this a lot, with their models. So what they should have done when they made this, and they don't do this when they make them, is they should have just made it so that the stupid now I'm breaking these. I'm gonna break this off now. They should have made it so that these they should have made it so that the damn wheels just stuck in. Because I could tell you already that they're not going to fit. But it's fine. But if they would have just... there's like nowhere to put this on. Because you run into the same problem you always run into with these models. One of the things you can do I do that sometimes. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so what I did was I may do the same thing for the other hole in a minute. What they did was they deliberately made it uneven. Now what? I might do it for the other hole as well. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking the tweezers. This is a nightmare of epic proportions. It just really is, because what they did was they made the wheel really, really shallow. They should have just made the dowels long enough so they would just go into the wheel, instead of the way that they did it. They wanted to make it look uneven, like it was improvised together. That's why they did it this way. And then the problem that they always do is they make this won't stay in there. I don't know why it won't stay in there. And they put this mushroom on it. This is like ridiculous. Come on, man. Basically, I'm gonna have to. Because, like I said before, what's going to be the issue is. Yeah, so even though I'm waiting. There we go. So we got our pump wagon. But I'm just trying to get. Now I might be able to get it. Let's see if I can get it lightly glued while I'm waiting. Because now I got some glue in there. Alright, there we go. Because the glue held this time around. Yeah, and I get it. Like, it's supposed to look improvised. It has to look like it's... we're so not done yet. It's ridiculous. And we still got to put goblins on top of it, which we haven't even done that yet. Oh, how is that going to work? How the hell does that work? Where do I put that in, folks? Oh, on the pulley, okay. Right, we're going to let that just dry. Alright, so next up is... Alright, we don't have too much left. But like I said, we got to dress this with some goblins, so... We're going to see how that looks. As I say, I think one of the goblins is actually on this rock. If I'm not mistaken. Because for the pump wagon itself, with the exception of the one piece... With the exception of the one piece I physically lost, because... Because I'm that good. Yeah, so now we have to put in this pulley system. Because I didn't realize this, but I think it throws rocks. So, who knew? Alright, I'm definitely not going to build the other pump wagon tonight. So I probably will, like I said, I will probably build the rest of these off camera. Alright, so if you guys can see, oh my god, this is just... Okay, that actually is not... Okay, that's actually very good. Alright. Now, from what I can tell, they want me oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, so they want me okay. So they want me to put oh, these guys are nuts. no, this is insane. Yeah, GW is nuts. So, this is what I mean by... So what they want you to really do is they want you to get... Yeah, that's why you need the tweezers. They wanted... Yeah, I mean, again, when it's all done, cool-ass model. But, yeah, they want you to push this on top of there while that's attached to that. Then I was about to say, so people we need for this is right, the guy with the frying pan, the guy with the slingshot, this guy, and where's your man? It's like this. And then what I love is that they don't tell you where to put any of the other guys. So they make it your decision on where you want to put them. Now, do I think this model is 100% cool? Yes. But I think they're crazy. Use the last of my Gorilla Glue? It's possible. You know what? Let's be smart about this. Oh my god, why is he so slippery? I can't put any like freaking pressure on him at all. So I'm going to go a little crazier with mine. If I can get him to sit on that a little bit better. Let's see. I kind of like him being a little bit zanier. Let's get him. And have him like hanging off the wheel because I think that's just nuts. Alright, where does frying pan guy go? Is he just like oh, he's like hanging out. Okay, he's supposed to be like hanging out of the thing. So we'll put a little bit there. We'll put a little bit in his hand. Just had enough Gorilla Glue to get him done. Huh. Alright, so we're going to get him. So, again, if you guys look, this model is nuts. Because you have goblins all over. You have snotlings all over this pump wagon thing. It's alright. So one of my pump wagons won't have, like, all 4 posts. Which actually, it's kind of fitting because they're goblins and they're nuts. But this thing is crazy. Now, they're saying to put it... Oh, I guess it does fit. Wow. I guess it just fits. Yeah. It's crazy how Blood Bowl, like, skirts the rules on, like, their models. Like, they really, really do. I'm just going to put big wads of glue on this because I don't know how I'm going to get this on here. Because it doesn't really... really doesn't fit. So that is the final product. But yeah, this is going to be something I'm just going to leave there. That's got to dry. Alright, so I definitely solved the mystery of what base. I'm probably going to put a little bit more. I might put some other material in there. Maybe put some hard tracks with the mud or something to give it some more structural integrity. Because that's a tough base, but this is insane. This thing is nuts. I can't believe this is a Blood Bowl piece. I just can't. It looks amazing. I know it's got, all the bad stuff under the sun. I'm gonna bend the nails a little bit. Yeah, this has got some... It literally is on this base by nothing. It's like so... I could have swore I thought they'd want to put a goblin on the rock. But I guess we don't. Because it almost looks like a goblin should be sitting there. Or like something else was going to happen there. I don't know. But yeah, this is the pump wagon. The pump wagon's nuts. We built out the other goblins. I didn't base them yet. But this is one half of the team right now. So we got one half of it done. I'm going to build the other half off camera because we've been doing this for almost 2 hours. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I need to go to bed. Alright. So, we'll definitely be doing some more model building. We will definitely be doing, obviously, painting. Some more painting videos. So we'll switch over. I'm going to try to alternate it where one night I do some building. Another night we do painting. I'm going to be going back to painting some of the Hellboy board game pieces so we can get those done. And then we'll build out another model kit. We'll do some Kings of War stuff. So we have a lot of different content. My studio's almost finished. So if you guys, you can't see it from your vantage point, but if you look to my right here, there's all models on this table. There's a variety of things to paint, to build. Just stuff I've been doing. If you want to check out other builds and other model videos, both check out my YouTube channel, Modern Geek Gaming. There's a link below. You want to sign up for that and subscribe because there's going to be some exclusive content on that that's not on this channel. Once I get the studio up and we start doing campaigns and battle reports and other stuff. And then also, you want to, of course, if you can, follow this Twitch channel because that's when you're going to know we're live. So you can participate in our live painting videos, our live drawing and art videos, my live playthroughs and game reviews, our live RPG nights and campaigns, and all the different content that I have through my Twitch channel, because I will be doing different content in both. I will be archiving a lot of the Twitch stuff on the YouTube as well. So please check those both out. If you can follow, subscribe, and share, that is always a great way to support the channel. It doesn't cost anything if you have accounts in those places, and you can see more content, because there's definitely more videos up there that have not been or have been removed from Twitch. And then you'll see some other links below. There's some monetary ways to support the channel. That's both my website and my Patreon. If you are a big fan of more model painting, I am a commission painter. You can check out my different examples there. I'll be putting up more examples as well. You can check out that for services and possibly hire me for that. You can also check out the original comics and graphic design and artwork that I do, and you can purchase some of that artwork on my shop in my website. You can also check out my Patreon if you're a big comic book fan and want to see original comic strip content. You can check that out as well. Again, the Patreon, there's a couple of different ways to support through that, different tiers. Right now I'm running a special on having access to the comic, which is actually less than it normally is, and it's a limited quantity for the first couple of folks that come. So you can check that out. I'm going to try to give you guys a strip a month. I'm behind on 1 month already. I'm sorry. But the strip is almost done. I'm going to get it out. And those are original stories. They're called Funny Papers. Check it out. You can also just do $1 a month just to donate to the channel. You can, do a few different things on there as well. And that money is all about getting the equipment, building up the studio, getting everything we need, getting the actual product and content for me to review. Because although some companies do send me stuff like Manta Games, which I always give a big shout out to, there are other companies that are not sending me the things, specifically GW. So all the GW models and things that I do, I need to pay for that. The paints, the brushes, all of those things. So, and the board games that I review and will be reviewing. So if you could support monetarily, please do. I know that's a tough thing to do right now, which is why the follow, the subscribe, and the share is so much easier. You'll see some other links below. You can check us out on Facebook and such. So please consider following. I will see you at the next video. We'll be doing videos. I'm going to try to do what I always do, which is at least one video a day. I'm going to try to shoot for 2 videos a day, one gaming video and one painting or creative video. So please consider following. I look forward to seeing you at the next video. And again, stay safe, wash your hands, and please respect all the folks on this planet, because without them, we will not be able to conquer the hills and things in front of us as human beings. Only together can we figure it out, and only together can we solve it. So it doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, what you look like. Please respect everybody, because that's the only way we're going to all make it. All right, take care, everybody. See you soon.